All right, so this will be get a description of the items in a room. And actually, I'm probably going to want to do something like this getExit string. I think I'm just going to put this on into getExit string, because every time I go into a room, I think I want to just have all the items that are currently there. So I'm going to add on to return string. Let's see, I don't think there was a return on the previous one. And then I'm going to say in the items in the room, add a return, and then return string plus equals this one down here that I just made. Get room items. Maybe plus return. All right, so that should be, let's see, let's test this. So I can get an item, I can set an item, I can get room items. Eventually I'm going to want to be able to remove them as well, but we'll get to that in just a sec. Okay, so I've added an inventory into mine. What if I say 120 dot, let's see, set item? Set item. And the new item will be a new robot, which is an item. We go look at this. Let's see. Items in the room, nothing. Go north. Hey, there's a robot in the room. That's awesome. And it appears I don't need to return either at the very end. So I'm going to take that off. All right, so now that we have the ability to add items into an inventory and into a room, we need to be able to actually pick up and drop off items. So the room itself, I am currently able to print out all the rooms, and I can set particular rooms, and I can get a particular index. So now I need to be able to actually have some sort of pickup command that goes in here. So what I need to do is I need to add in a command word, get. So now that I have this get, I can actually put it into my game. So now down in the process command section, I need to say else if the command word is get, I'm going to have to make my own method here where I can actually get something out. It's actually pretty similar to GoRoom in that I'm going to have a second command word. The second command word is the type of item I'm looking at. So get item, and I'll pass in the command so that they can actually get that back out. So let's go ahead and create get item. It's actually very similar to GoRoom, so I'm actually going to steal this code and then alter it. So this will then become get item. So if there's no second command word, that means you're trying to say get, but you're not saying what to get. So I should probably say something like get what. There will be a string item, which will be the second word. And then I need to somehow ask the room to give me whatever that item is. And I'm going to pass in the word that's there. Now at the moment, I have a get item that gives me back the item at a particular index. So what I'd like to do is I'd like to make a second get item where I actually pass in this string instead, because there's a possibility that I don't know which index it is. So I'm actually going to go to room and make another get item command. So this get item is going to take a string, and I'm going to call this the item name. So you may be wondering, wait, there's two get items? How does it know which one it is? Well, what it's going to do is it's going to look at whatever's in the parentheses and say, is that an int? or is that a string? And that's how it figures out which one to use. So you can actually create multiple different methods that have the same name, and maybe they do very similar things, and then just based on what's in the parentheses, you can change what each one does. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to do a for loop, which is going to go through everything in my items array list. So this will be items.size. It's an interesting thing. So arrays use .length with no parentheses. Array lists use .size with parentheses, and strings use .length with parentheses. Why weren't they consistent? Because they didn't foresee the future, I guess. Anyway, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to create an item to return and set it equal to the special keyword null. So when it's null, that means that it's pointing basically to nothing in memory. And you're allowed to check that. If I try and do anything with toReturn though, so if I try and say get its description, it's going to throw something called a null pointer exception because it's pointing to null. This happens if you don't create new items. By default, they're set to null. So occasionally, if you try and grab something that you haven't actually created yet, it will throw that error. So what I need to do is I need to go through each item and compare its description to this thing that was passed in. So if items.get i.get description, and if that equals the item name, then I know that's the one that I need to return. And if not, then I'm going to return null. So strings are allowed to do that. Hey look, I didn't need this at all. Oh well. There you go. Okay, so now that I have items.get, I have return null. So back over here, I'm going to assign this to next room. Next room? How about new item? So new item is either one of the things that's in the room, if it matches, or it is the special keyword null. So if new item is null, then I say, hey, that item is not here. Otherwise, what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually want to pick up the item, which means I need to remove it from the room. Do I have a way to remove it? No. So I need to figure that out in a second. And then I need to add it to my inventory. Right now, my inventory, as an array list, I can just add it in. So that's relatively easy. Where did it go? There it is. So all I'm going to say is inventory.add new item. So that puts it in my inventory. Now I need to be able to remove it from the room. So I'm going to create a command in here, which is going to be something similar to this. Remove items from the room. So I'm going to say remove item, and it's going to return nothing. Maybe eventually I want to return a Boolean, but so here I'm going to walk through my array list again, and as soon as I find the one that matches, I need to remove that from my array list. And it automatically updates the various parts of the various indices after this automatically. That's one of the fabulous things about an array list.